Yes, really good evening to you, and I welcome you to today's session. Once again, my name is Tobi Kalejaye. Other than the introduction, and today it promises to be an amazing session. Like I said, this event promises to change your life, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I have to be sharing with you today. Amazing topic: maximizing cryptocurrencies in 2023. This is very specific for your growth, for you to see how you can make money as the year goes. Not just as the year goes, basically, but from this year forward, you want to build an amazing portfolio. You want to understand the tricks, the ropes of cryptocurrencies, and then you want to make good fortune for yourself. All right. So I'm going to be teaching for 2 days. This is day one. Interestingly, in the second day, I would be showing how exactly you can be able to use my strategy that I used to raise from $2,000 to over $50,000 in 2017 just by following very simple principle that I'm going to be sharing with you through this session. So it is very, very, very important that you pay attention. In today's class, my goal is to bring you from the general overview out to the understanding the step-by-step process for you to be a cryptocurrency trader or a cryptocurrency investor. And I've done a lot of work in taking out the boring part, the deep technical things. I'm just going to show you the money spot. So it is very, very, very important that you pay attention. Your feedbacks mean a lot to me all through this presentation. If you hear any point that strikes you really hard, write it down, note it down. I'm also checking up in the comment section. I want to see what you're reacting to, and I can know how best to stretch some important points for you. And don't forget, just like you drop some questions for Relito Barua because I followed, don't forget to drop your questions also if you have them, and I'll be very, very willing to help you. All right. So don't forget, just make sure you give all the attention. It promises to be worth your time and also to be life changing. So in tomorrow's session, like I said, I'll be teaching dollar cost averaging and showing you this same strategy that I have used and I've helped so many people to use in the past to generate amazing wealth for themselves through cryptocurrencies. Now to what I have to share with you today. I'm sure if you're new into the cryptocurrency industry or you've not participated in any way, can you just type one in there in the comment section? Just type in one, figure one in the comment section. And then if you are not outrightly new, your response for this question is 1.5. You're not new. But if you are an existing investor, a pro, you already have your wallet, you've done this in the past, your response to this should be two. So just type in figure two, and then I can understand how far you have come. All right. Just type figure two in the comment section. Excuse me. So I can understand how far you've come. Okay. Great, 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 great. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. In a minute, I'm pulling up to the slides and then I'll show you some amazing things that you should first know if you're getting started with cryptocurrencies in the first place. And yeah, this was my own journey. I'll share a bit about my own journey, how it all began for me, how I got into it, what excited me, to say, okay, I even want to give some attention to this thing called crypto. Just a second, guys. Trying to pull up today's slides. maximizing cryptocurrencies in 2023. How can you go from knowing nothing about cryptocurrencies to becoming a pro investor? These are the things I want to cover today. There's some technical issues here and there, but I'll fix it in a minute. I can't find my slide. Oh my god. Sorry guys, sorry guys. Okay. I'm going to bring you from the evolution of money, how the whole humanity started with money till we got to this point where we are, how we went evolved from the era of trade by barter through till okay, great. Yeah, I found it. All right, so quickly, I'm going to go straight directly from the origin of cryptocurrencies, what it is, how you can use it to your advantage as an individual. What are the things you need to know? What are the things you need to focus on? There's a lot of noise and buzz. When can I make? How can I essentially make money with it? I'm not going to bore you with the old technical stories. All right. So the history and the evolution of money. Obviously, man started with the old trade by barter idea when people wanted to see the best way to exchange value from one person to the other. Right, we started questioning ourselves to say, okay, I have for example, I have probably yam and then you have gary. How can we come into a mutual agreement that I can now have your gari that you have, but I have to part with my yam? And then, of course, when people saw that for every time you wanted to gain something, it meant that you had to lose something also. So man started looking for ways to improvise, because why should I lose what I have in my possession today because I want something else tomorrow? And then what you're losing today, you might need it in the coming days. So it became obvious that that medium of exchange could no longer sustain the needs of man. All right, it could no longer be helpful or give the desired result. And also, there was this concern about the injustice in value. All right, so it meant that if I have something that is very, very valuable to me and dear to me that I should be keeping and not willing to exchange it, but the moment I need something else, I have to let the valuable thing that I have go. All right. Then we started looking at calories, we started looking at other forms of exchange. And then calories in itself, it was still insufficient. It wasn't giving that permanent solution to the exchange needs of humans. And I'm going to say something very, very striking. All right, you would discover that as technology continues to advance, right, as technology continues to advance, the forms of money continues to change. All right, we've gone from coins to paper, from papers to polymers, from polymers to card economy, from card economy to cashless economy. I mean, from cash and all that to the cashless. The cashless, we started with the card, And then now in some places you don't even need cards anymore, right? With my iPhone, with my Apple Pay, I do my daily runnings. I can't even tell the last time I saw my cards, right? My ATM cards. You don't need them. Of course, in my view, the need or the dependence on these technologies might vary from one place to the other, especially where people find themselves. But if you live in Europe, you live in the US today, people don't even carry cards anymore. Cards are like either you use virtual cards or you use just your Apple Pay, your Google Pay. These are the things that are basically very, very, very predominant, right? And it's just obvious. Go into the history of humanity, you would discover as technology continues to advance, the forms of money also continues to change, also continues to advance. All right. So now we see by evolution of humanity, cryptocurrency has its place. And then the very foundation on which cryptocurrency is the first cryptocurrency lies is the blockchain technology. So you might find people talk, make a lot of buzz about blockchain, blah, blah, blah. What you just basically need to know and understand is that the blockchain itself is a distributed ledger. It's a public distributed ledger, or like unlike the ledger of the banks, you know, it's only within the banks. Only the banks know how much came in today. Only the banks know how much is going out. Only the CBN knows in accuracy how much naira is printed, how much naira is in circulation, and that's why, because of their insincerity, it's not just the Nigerian central bank, but most of the central banks of the world. That's why we have very big problem with currency, the problem of inflation. All right. How does inflation kill people? How does it affect you as a person? You can obviously see on the streets the cost of the things you're buying today is not the same anymore like it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And then when I was really young, I would hear my dad tell me stories like, oh, I bought my first car for 525 naira. And I was going to be laughing like, 525 naira. Well, then I was young myself. I was like, if I had 525 naira, then at that time, I bought my first PS1. I could remember my PlayStation 1 that I had then. I bought it for 1,000 naira. And then before I could save up for the 1,000 naira, it was hell. Like, I had to skip a lot of school meals. I had to borrow money, go with promise cards here and there. But today, 1,000 naira can hardly get you shawarma. It can hardly get you. What else can it get you? Probably you commute from one place to the other, and before you know it, it's become very, very useless. So my dad bought his first car for 525 naira, and today 525 naira has relatively no value. All right, why? Because of inflation. Reality shows us that the inflation rate in Nigeria is about 30% per month. So it means that if you have 100,000 naira in January, by February, what you technically have is 70,000 naira. And by the time you have 70,000 naira in what's it called in February, by the end of March, it has lost another 30% of its value. It is really, really scary, but people don't know how scary it is, right? We're living on a time bomb. And this is what I want you to know. Income not going up for most people, right? Income has remained static for most people. And then inflation is eating up into the ones that people have, even though the government is going to tell you, no, we're only experiencing 20 or 25% inflation per annum. But reality says otherwise. Look at the cost of food. The easiest way to know how inflated an economy is the price of food. The price of food keeps doubling. Excuse me. Price of oil and essential commodities keep doubling. Then you should know. Now, you are not the Minister of Finance or the central bank governor who wants to salvage or save the entire economy. All you want to do is save yourself, emancipate yourself from what is happening. So, this is what the convener of the first blockchain powered currency, which is Bitcoin, this was what he looked at in 2009. They wrote the white paper, and all of that. The rest is history. They were looking out for a currency that could live against inflation, all right? Because every currency in every country of the world is affected by inflation. No doubt, some are hyperinflated, some are very low scale level of inflation. But when you find yourself, especially in third world countries, you want to emancipate yourself. Why? Because the people who run the system, the way they run it, would continually keep every other person impoverished. They steal our commonwealth, go plant it somewhere else. They are stealing from the economy, leaving the economy empty. Guess who is suffering? Guess the people who are feeling the pain. It is you and I, right? Individuals who are working, putting in their own energy here and there to ensure that they make ends meet for themselves. But no, we are just, or let me say, the people who find themselves in such situations. Because I am, very lucky. I've, like saw the old trend and then I had to cut myself off that rubbish, right? By firstly adopting cryptocurrencies, saving my money in US dollar or other currencies that are stronger, right? To ensure that I emancipate myself. Like I said, I'm not the Minister of Finance, I'm not the central bank governor, neither are you. You can't create a solution for the entire economy. All you want to do is create a solution for yourself. And that's what I'm going to teach you. All right. How you can, through cryptocurrencies, you know, create this sustainable economy for yourself, make a lot of money for yourself. Now, note one thing or two things. Number one, understand that the price of cryptocurrencies will continue to go either up or down, all right? And that's not really the thing you should be afraid of, right? Because if you have a good perspective or knowledge of the entire market, you would see how the fluctuations are even what the advantage point for you as a person. So, the definition, I'm going to give the definition. I will talk about the importance. I've already started mentioning some of the advantages, but I will still elaborate more. I'll talk about the potentials for the future, and then I'll give more insight on Bitcoin. Right? Don't forget, today there are there are, a whole lot, thousands, several thousands of cryptocurrencies that are available in our world today. All you just have to do, you can't put your money in every one of them, because not every one of them is viable. All right, don't let people sway you, don't let people misguide you. I'm just going to show you some basic fundamental things to look at, and then you can be able to guide yourself on choosing the best ones for you. Yes. Now, cryptocurrencies are a kind of cryptocurrency powered by cryptography, and then they run essentially on the blockchain. Some are even running on different kinds of technologies at the moment, because, like I said, technology itself is evolving. The things that are working today were not the things that were in vogue in fact, some 6 months ago. All right. So as technology continues to evolve, cryptocurrencies, digital forms of exchange, and cryptography and things like that are taking the trend and would always continue to be there. So why do we need them? Number one, for peer-to-peer exchange. People are looking for a way. You and I can be in my room, pick up my phone, and call you. I don't need to go through a government organization or whatever before I do that. But when it comes to money, it's been very, very difficult over the years that people have to always send money only through means or methods that are vetted by the government. Is it good? Yeah, it has its own good, it has its own merit, it has its own demerit also, because we found over the years the government, especially in third world countries, are very unfair to their citizens, mismanaging public funds and public good for their own personal self, for their own family. And yet, so it looks like the individual then needs to create a way to be able to emancipate themselves, create your own freedom, right, from what the government is doing. So Cryptocurrency gives you that leverage to be able to what do peer-to-peer exchange of money, transfer money from person to person without getting the government or a third party organization involved. All right. Secondly, it is a very good store of value. Yes, I talked about, I think it was at the peak of the price of Bitcoin in 2021. The highest point was about 64 or 68,000, if I'm correct right now, right? And now the price is ranging around the 28,000 region. Just a second, I want to check on the price right now as we speak. Popping that up. I always like to do this so people can, uh, as we speak right now, as we are having this session, the price of one Bitcoin is 27,400 thereabout dollars. Now, the good thing is this: the value of one Bitcoin remains, it has never changed. So if you had one Bitcoin in, let's say you had one Bitcoin in 2016 when the price of one Bitcoin was fluctuating around 500, $1,000. Today, your one Bitcoin is already valued at 24,000. Say, for example, if you bought your one Bitcoin, maybe when the price was at around 10,000 or 10, 15, or 15,000 or whatever price it is you bought your Bitcoin, you still retain the value of the one Bitcoin that you have. So this is a very good store of value because I wouldn't want to go into all the mathematical details. The price of Bitcoin cannot inflation cannot affect the price of Bitcoin. All right, it is inflation proof, but the unit price per time keeps changing because why? Of course, people buy, people sell. The noise grows from time to time, just like the stock market, just like when you buy shares and you hold them. All right. Now, this fluctuation in price is always on the short term basis. And that's why people want to go into cryptocurrencies, make the most from cryptocurrencies, should be a friend of the time when everywhere is quiet, when there's no noise about it, because that's the best time to invest. All right. This right here, if you are able to understand what I just said, if you are able to understand what I just said, right, what I'm saying right now, you are already on that path to maximize cryptocurrency for this particular year and the next bull session that is coming very, very soon. I have a strong feeling looking at the things that are happening in the space from August, July is going to be very, very busy. We might have Bitcoin going back to 64,000, and from there, excuse me, we might be going to around 200,000 or thereabout. Now, the question most people say, I don't have big money. I can't buy one Bitcoin right now. That's what I'm going to be showing you tomorrow. How you can, with your little as 20,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, start preparing yourself for the millions that are going to be made, all right, by people who are smart and people who are making the most decision right now. The best decision you can start taking right now is to see how do I use Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for storing value. All right. Start putting your mind to that. And also it's helping the unbanked to be banked, and also it's an easy way to transfer value. For example, if you have $1 million worth of gold, how do you carry that from you have $1 million worth of gold and you want to take that from Nigeria to China? How are you going to do that? A lot of logistics needs to happen in there. But if you have $1 million worth of Bitcoin, you can send it to anywhere in the world, right? Just by the click of buttons on your phone, on your laptop, whatever, wherever you want to do it. So it's the easiest way. Cryptocurrencies are the easiest way to transfer values today. If you want to send them even $1 billion worth of USDT, for example, it's just going to be clicks of buttons on your phone. No third party interference, just from you to the person who wants it. You're not going to do that with money transfer without spending a lot in charges. You're not going to do that with Mastercard or any of the payment options that we currently have without paying enormous amount or percentages in charges and fees. And of course, you're going to fill a lot of forms, the third party, police, the source of your money. Nobody asks you about the source of your poverty. Have you ever observed that? Has anybody ever come up to you and say, bro, we observe that you're broke. Can you explain explain the source of your poverty? But when it comes to your money, when it comes to your own money that you've worked out for, and I tell you something, you might, especially if you're very new, you might be tempted to think, oh, it's because of criminals. It's because of it's not true. It's not true. Why do I say it's not true? Before the existence of money, there's always been crime. Crime has been on the planet Earth before the existence of money. During the era of trade by barter, there was crime. During the era of cowries, whatever form of crypto of currency existed, there's always been crime. All right. So now look at this very well. A gun in my hand, it's nothing. I have no intentions. I don't have anything to do with it. But when a thief handles a gun, it becomes an instrument to kill. Is the problem the gun? Maybe, maybe not. But whoever is handling it, and then what the person wants to do it with it is what makes the difference. You give a knife to a butcher, he wants to slaughter ram, goats, cows. He just wants to be in business. He sees a knife as an instrument for business. You give a knife to a murderer, it's something else. You give a knife to someone who wants to eat bread, oh, this is helping me to eat. So that's the thing. It's never about the fact that, oh, they are trying to control the system because of crime. No. Who are the biggest criminals in the world? It's still the governments, but we'll talk about that later, right? So, potentials of cryptocurrencies: number one, increasing use, so long the internet is getting better. And of course, the internet is obviously here to stay. We can see how our world today is built. We are built on the internet now, right? Refrigerators working with internet, homes working with internet. There are cities in the world you live in. You can't go out if you don't have data. You can't try it because you really have a messed up day. All right. You need internet literally for everything in most parts of the world today. How do we even connect with people without the internet? Our medium of communication and our entire life now revolves around it. So long the internet is in existence, we would always have cryptocurrencies and things like it around us. What else do I have to say on this one? Wealth creation for willing individuals. See, I must say, and you need to listen to me carefully on this one. Nobody is going to force you to adopt cryptocurrencies, to throw your fears in the gutter, look for proper mentorship, sign up, learn the things you need to learn, and get yourself on board and started. Nobody's going to nobody's going to force you. Nobody's going to like do what Mr. Peter is doing currently, bringing people together to come give you free sessions on how to make. No. This is a very rare privileged opportunity, and I'm sure, like for me and for some of the other speakers, nobody's going to be doing this 2 days free sessions and then people don't want to use the information. All right. So the best thing you can do for yourself, trust me, sit down, sit with this info, digest it, and see how to convert them. Start using them up to help yourself. All right. How can you? The question on your mind, what you should be sleeping and waking up with is, how can I create wealth with cryptocurrency? Am I part of the willing individuals? How do I get on board the wealth distribution chain that is currently happening? The biggest of people in the world, in every space, every organization now is thinking and talking about cryptocurrencies. All right. So you should also turn on your thinking cap and start seeing, how do I maximize, how do I leverage on this technology and the innovations that are happening in this space. You're talking about AIs, you're talking about coins that are powered by AI technology. This is a great opportunity for you also to see, all right, of the several thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. You should start seeing, oh, which one am I going to leverage on? Which one am I going to learn more about? Which community am I going to be a part of? So I can tap the juice that's in there. The best time to do that is now. Somebody said the best time to plant the tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to do so is now, today. Today, in my investing class, I like to teach people about especially people who think, oh, I make too little money, I don't have enough money, so I can't invest. Or people, because number one, the question about too much or too little money is very relative. All right, very very relative. I don't want to lose trend of my thought today, so yes, I'm bringing it to this point on Bitcoin, right? When was it created? I have my reasons for always trying to share this background story. And then I'm talking basically about Bitcoin, not BNB, not Ethereum, not any other thing, because you need to first understand that it all started with Bitcoin, and then we experience growth into other forms of currencies. Now, for you who is just starting today, I will still always tell you the first wallet you should create is first your Bitcoin wallet. How to trade, and all those things start with Bitcoin. To buy, what should I buy? What should I invest in? Start with Bitcoin. You don't have to buy $1 million, $10,000. What? You might just start buying as little as possible. That's what I'm going to show and teach extensively in tomorrow's session, right? So it was created in 2009. Yeah, I hope I didn't lose that train of thought. Uh, it was created in 2009. The developer is a pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. And then the use case, the purpose of its creation was that it could serve as the means of exchange of currency for people. Also, it should be able to fight inflation, be the sustainable store of value for people in different countries of the world. And it has actually lived up to that purpose. The adoption is growing massively every year. Year in, year out, the adoption of Bitcoin is growing. You could just type that on Google, read about the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and see the potential for growth. All right. How it's been happening over the years. Now, let me come back to you. I don't want this to jump over you. I don't want you to lose out on this thing, right? On what we're sharing today. So, what should be the action point? What are the things you should start doing from today, right? From today, what's the very first thing you should do if you want to get on board, start making money from cryptocurrencies? I'm going to share them in a second. Before I go on to quickly share that, I think it's important I tell you how cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin especially derives its value. We call it the law of fixed unit in that there's a maximum amount of Bitcoin that can ever be generated in the world. It's just 21 million units. So everybody, excuse me, from 2009 to date, we're just sharing a portion of the 21. Excuse me. We're just sharing a portion of the 21 million. Yeah, it's really late now. But it's great. I'm happy to spend my time doing this with you. All right. So we're sharing a portion of the 21 million units. As more people continue to buy into it, more people continue to invest money into it. All right. Based on the principle of demand and supply, the price would go up. Also, when people sell, also, right? When massive sale happens, especially that's what we refer to as the beer season. All right, it also reduces in price. Okay, so how can you? That's the question I want you to stay with, ruminate over. How do I make money from this? I'm sure you've seen a lot of people. Oh, this one made that money. This one that. Number one, understand the best time to make money in cryptocurrency is during the bull season. But you would only make money when you have bought in the bear season, because the principle that cryptocurrencies work with is the principle of buying low and selling high. You buy it when it is 24,000. When it gets to 45,000 or whatever, your the value of whatever you bought has gone up by maybe 100%, 200%. It depends on what you're buying. The value has gone up by, say, for example, you buy with today's price being 27,000, right? 27,000. When the price doubles, that's going to be, is it 54,000? If I'm correct with my math, 54,000. So if you buy $2,000 worth now today, when the price gets to 54,000, you are already up by what? 4,000, right? Your money, your initial deposit becomes 4,000. That's $2,000 that you have made without working, without network marketing, without selling, without bringing two people, bringing four. This is one basic principle, one basic way of how it works. It is during the beer season. And then, if even this is no longer the beer season anymore because the market is already gaining momentum. All right. The momentum is coming up already. You need to start looking for how to get in and get on board. How do I trade? All right. How do I trade cryptocurrencies or whatever? All right. How do I get into it? Of course, you need to create an account with an exchange. The most popular one in our world today is Binance, but we started from the days of Bittrex. We started with Poloniex, Kraken, but the most popular one today is Binance, Binance.com. You could just get the app on your phone and then you are already like one step into it. Who are those trading these currencies? Banks, central banks of nations, hedge funds, retail traders like yourself, like me, all right? Private businesses all over the world. This is not 2017, 2016, 2018. The information is everywhere. The knowledge is everywhere about it. It's you who would need to, get yourself strapped up immediately and then start leveraging. How do I get started? I already said the first thing you need to do is what? Get the app, get the wallet you want to start with. Tomorrow is what I'm going to show you. This is how much you should start committing. How should I start committing this amount? And I'm going to show you my own template how I was able to raise from $2,000, just $2,000 to over $50,000. All right. That's what I'm going to show you tomorrow. There are pitfalls also to avoid in the industry. Just like when something has its good, it must have its own downside, it must have its own pitfalls. And the best way to be able to avoid these pitfalls, number one, is to have solid mentorship. All right, have a guidance. You can't just say you want to start navigating it by yourself, right? Or on your own. It's not going to be the best. Okay, have a guidance, have someone who is tutoring you, mentoring you, who is showing you the ropes, and also be teachable, right? Be teachable. It's not enough to have someone who wants to teach. It's also very important for you to have that willingness to learn. All right, you must be willing to learn at every point in time. And then, yeah, you must already have income. A sustainable source of income is very, very, very important. You don't want to put your rent, your school fees, your children's money, the money you need tomorrow. You don't want to put it into cryptocurrencies, all right? Because the time lag when it's going to go up, you really can't tell. You can't predict it. It's it has that level of unpredictability, right? So it's very important that you don't go borrow money to say I want to go invest in crypto so that when it goes up, I'm going to pay up. You don't know when it's going to go up, yes, but when you don't know how to know either. All right. So these are basic pitfalls that you should avoid. I want to believe if you have questions based on what we've shared today, it will be very important that you just drop them in the comments. I'm glossing over. All right. Sorry if I was too fast with my presentation. Tomorrow I'll try to keep it a bit low and then go at everybody's pace. Yeah, but I believe this was very valuable and you found it very helpful. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Peter, for giving me this opportunity to share with your audience. And then I'll see you tomorrow. For your questions, I'll be waiting around to take them. See you.